Down there, here. Call Lenoir City Board of Education, February 9th, 2023, meeting to order. Roll call, Sheila.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Here.
Glenn McNish.
Here.
Lacey Murray. Here. Rick Chadwick.
Here.
Chris Claybo.
Here.
I stand for a moment of silence. Remain standing for the pledge of allegiance afterwards. Thank you. Pledge it, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do have a presentation from Dr. Chris Mahler. Dr. Barker, you want?
Yes. Board, we are excited today to share with you an innovative piece of technology that we now have and have installed in all of our classrooms. Dr. Smallin has headed up this initiative, and we've asked, I'll turn it over to him and he can introduce our presenter today.
Sure, so behind you see a mimeobauxite interactive panel, and Dr. Barker asked me this afternoon, she said, how many of these have we put in the district? And my very definitive answer was a bunch. Because we put one in every classroom over the last 3 years here. Beth Lockhart is our instructional technology specialist in the school district, and she's going to walk you through some of the different things that the bauxite panel will do, and what our teachers have the capability of doing in the classroom today. So she makes her way up there. We had projection systems in all of our classrooms previously. But as those projectors get a couple of years age on them, they become a little fuzzy. It's harder to see in the back of the room, any clarity. These will last, the next 10, 15 years, we hope. So.
Welcome. So yes, I'm Beth Lockhart. I'm the personalized learning facilitator who helps with tech coaching, basically, of all of our staff and students. This is our box light. This is our Model 3 that went in last year, and we just put in, my number's right, like 63 of the Model 4s. So what you'll see today is, has been, you've seen probably in school visits, and then the ones that were the Model 4s went in the last week of January. So we can use both the Opera and the Chrome browser. So students, this is just imagine one large Android phone on the wall without calling capabilities. So teachers can right here have a display to teach right from. So they can sign into their Google Chrome drives, and they have access to all their presentations that they've created. What another cool feature is imagine that we have a website up. They have these tools, and right here they can write on the screen. And they also have the ability to highlight, so if they want to highlight text as they're reading through articles and things. And each of these has different colors, so we can do all different kinds of colors for annotations and such. And then it's easily gets rid of it just like that. And that's how we use it with the browser that's built in. The other tricks to it is it has a notebook software we call Notes. And it loads to this screen. We can change the background colors here, but we can also do many other things. So we can put lined paper, staff for music classes. Our music classes have some display boards. We can also change the colors for the background to our lovely orange for Lenoir City. So also teachers can pull in, I'm gonna cancel and go back. Teachers can pull in their own custom images. So if they use graphic organizers for instruction, it's right there. And they can write now on that and do that activity with their classes. Other tricks of the trade, let me go back and default it back to our solid color. We're going to go back to color. And we have pen features. I left the pens in my bag, sorry, but there are 2 pens. I'm using my hand, as you can see. It is 22-point touch, so our students can come here as multiple users. So think about old school with their chalkboards, and they can come up to the board and everybody can work and write at the same time. And they also have things like Clean All, such as rulers and math tools. They can use them to draw with and measure, but that line stays behind. Okay.
Great.
Then we have shapes. Sorry. Shapes are built in for teachers. So a way to use this is to teach 2- and 3-dimensional objects, but for our littles, they can do counters, and they use those to count with. So if they're teaching math concepts, that's one way. Or for our language arts, I can make this into a Venn diagram to reinforce concepts for reading and science, reading in the content areas, science, social studies. So those are just the built-in tools. We have the ability to build in tables, mind maps. So if we're doing some brainstorming, just that simple. And then we have sticky notes, which works the same way. And it moves there, and then teachers can build out using sticky notes for their students. And let's see if we get everything goes away. So that is, to show you, I showed you the background pages. So that's pretty much a lot of what it does, but one of the other great things that it does is we can take our devices. So all of our math in middle school and high school teachers had iPads, and they are able to, with not just their iPads, with their teacher laptops and with student devices, our student devices, the Chromebooks fold backwards and they can use them like tablets. They can take pictures of their work and display it onto the boards. So it's just as simple as swipe down, AirPlay, so if you may have a smart TV at home, you may do this. And it's going to show my screen. So I turn it this way, it's best for a student. Any of the apps that you could download on a device are available, but also on the fly, teachers are over here teaching. I'm just going to grab, that's our agenda for the day, and they can just capture a picture and go into their camera roll and pull that up and annotate and show student work and give in-time feedback to students, so that students can also speak out and say, this is where we're seeing errors, this is where we're seeing corrections, or this is how my thought process. So it's a lot of engagement within the classroom. Any questions? Comments?
I don't think we're smart enough.
I'm available for training. But yeah, so this is what we do. We're so blessed. Thank you guys as a board for funding this for our classrooms, because it is truly the greatest thing that we can do.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's what I was going to say too. I've been here for 11 years now as the CEO, and couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with on the board. They've always been very supportive of our instructional technology initiatives in the district and helping us move forward, and that's very important in today's, with students and the future of our workforce. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ben.
I honestly can remember when we got colored chalk. That was a step up. I mean, Joyce Ford was drawn into piano.
Have free time tomorrow in Tyler downstairs on the first floor. We're actually having virtual reality. So our kids will be doing some math exercises with VR headsets. tomorrow at 12:30, from 12:30 to 2:30. So
And
you
we're
guys
at
got some free time on their hands, and you want to swing by and put a virtual headset on and jump in with the kids, then come on by.
Do some math.
But you can't throw chalk erasers.
No, you got a virtual headset on your head, you
Yeah.
can use it, well, you would never know it, so.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is for the band uniforms discussion. Dr. Barker, you want to introduce?
Board, I would like to welcome our band director, Zach Slint. He's here and he has worked with his band boosters and would like to share with you a proposal that they've come up with.
Yeah, and so it is awesome to be here. Thanks for letting me come in and talk. I think I've at least talked to most of you on the phone, if not met you face to face. But if you haven't met me, I'm Zach Slint, and I've been at the high school since August. Well, I guess July for like 2 days in August. When the first day I came in, my band boosters were in the back row, and those are some awesome people back there. But they said, "Hey, we need new uniforms, so let's get those." And I said, "Okay, well, we're going to need some lending." And I said, "Yeah, everybody needs new uniforms. You know, let's put it on hold." And then I saw the uniforms. In 1993, Dr. Rick Best oversaw the purchase of band uniforms 30 years ago. If you caught our marching show, we played Jurassic Park. The year Jurassic Park came out, we bought new uniforms. And so about 15 years later, my predecessor, Adam Huff, oversaw updated jackets. So just the part that, Sierra, stand up for me. This is Sierra. She's awesome. She plays baritone. So Adam Huff updated the jacket. So just this white part with the orange stripe. So the pants that Sierra are wearing and the hat that Sierra is wearing are 30 years old. And the jacket is almost 15 years old. And you might see that and you might think, that looks pretty good for 30 years old. That's not too shabby. And that's because these ladies in the back row are really awesome at making sure they look like they work really well. Hey Sierra, can you come up here for just a second for me? This is Sierra's uniform that she wore. And 30 years ago, this was Melissa's uniform. Melissa, I'm not kidding. So we have a student named Ephraim who's in our Winter Guard program, and this is Ephraim's mother, and she wore these bibbers 30 years ago, and sweat in these bibbers 30 years ago, and drank water and soda in these bibbers, and ate in these bibbers, and all the things, and Sierra's wearing them today. So I thought I almost brought some for you guys to put on, but I thought I'd save you the trouble. So I'm going to borrow your hats here. Is that okay? So what Sierra's not wearing is our black plume, the feather that we're on top, which again is 30 years old. On the hat here, this is just one of many that is chipped off the logo here on the top. And yeah, that's fixable, but it's not a great look. Sierra, you can hold this for me. I'm going to ask you to take your jacket off. So bibbers are the black suspender pants. The jacket is a separate piece. So Sierra is currently wearing just an example of one of our jackets, which is hard to take off with one hand.
You need help, Sierra.
I got you. No worries about it. I got you. So this specific jacket, this is an example. The zipper's broken, so it doesn't zip up all the way. So she's got to button it and make sure it's on. The front of the jacket has a pretty sizable makeup stain that, who knows, maybe Melissa put on there. We've got a lot of makeup stains around the collar, because a lot of our ladies like to do makeup, and that's totally cool, but it gets on these uniforms, and white's pretty hard to clean. On the inside of this, let's see, deodorant 30 years in a row doesn't do super nice for a white uniform. And so they're tearing up pretty bad. And this is 15 years old. So if you notice, the bibbers that she's wearing are currently duct taped together. That's not for dramatic effect. Like, we do that to make sure that her pants don't fall down. They're also tied with shoelaces here on the edges to make sure that her shoes touch the ground and that her pants don't just touch the ground. So obviously, this is like awesome. And our students are so awesome. We've been playing the basketball games, we're playing the football games, we're doing parades. We went to both middle schools yesterday and played for all those kids, and it's a really good time. You don't have to put this back on, Sierra. It's really fun. Let me ask, do any of you want to put this on real quick? You can if you want. It's been sweating every week for the last 15 years. And so I don't think anyone disagrees that new uniforms might be cool. The real reason that we didn't just go out and buy them is they're pretty expensive. Everything that Sierra is wearing, plus the stuff that you have to transport it, costs about $500. The precise number is $528, and it's right there on your sheet. Next year, we're projecting 75 members in the high school band. After our trips to both middle schools, this year we had 52-ish, and we're projected to get a significant growth next year. We don't have 75 functioning uniforms. We can't outfit our band next year. We're going to have to, regardless, we're going to have to call up Stanbury, who's the company, and say, hey, we need like 5 pairs of pants, because we don't have 75 pairs of 30-year-old pants that work. That's just something and we can afford 5 pairs of pants. But really, that's just putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, is what it is. We've been looking into various ways to, pool our resources. I reached out to the Panther Foundation. They're donating $6,000, which is super generous. Our band boosters have offered to donate $12,000, which is really cool, because that's amazing. The band account at the school could put in about $4,000. Now we have a touch more than that, but if we put in every penny we have, and then our star trumpet player drops his trumpet, and we don't have any money, we just can't get it fixed. So we could withstand a loss of about $4,000 and be okay. Even with all of that combined, if we worked with those resources and kept fundraising, in about 11 years we could get new uniforms when they were 41 years old. So that's not super cool, that's not great. And so we're hoping to maybe convince you guys to help us out a little bit. Last time we updated the uniform, the school board was generous enough to cover half of the overall purchase, which is so generous. And Adam Huff was awesome enough to keep a full binder of everything about the uniforms, where we got them from, who we worked with, all the communications with and from the board, and I have that full binder, and I left it in my office at my school. But I have all of that information, so if you are ever curious about any email you ever sent or received from him about uniforms, I guarantee you it's in that binder somewhere. I read the whole thing, and I learned a lot about what they're wearing and the uniforms before theirs. In front of you, you've got a photo of Stanbury's pitch to us for a brand new uniform. That is a more updated look. That is more modern. That is what bands these days are wearing. There are 3 uniform companies that make marching band uniforms. There's Stanbury, DeMoulin, and another one that starts with an F. I can't remember. Fruhoff, Stanbury, and DeMoulin. So I know the drill. When you spend a lot of money, you've got to get pitches from 3 companies. I've reached out to them. I've had them all send me designs. I've done the background check. I went to a national band directors conference over winter break in Chicago. It's called Midwest Conference. Me and Miss Allen and Mr. Bayola all went together, and we went and learned a bunch of stuff about being great band directors. But we also talked with representatives from DeMoulin, from Stanbury, and from Fruhoff. Stanbury, which is the uniform that she's currently wearing, and the price quote that you have available to you, is middle of the road price-wise, and comparable to DeMoulin, which is the one above that. Now, if we wanted to get DeMoulin uniforms, that's like Pride of the South End marching band wears DeMoulin uniforms, and if you want to give us $80,000, we'll go get them tomorrow. But I figured I might get a little realistic. Now, Fruhoff is the cheapest option. And that's great, but in 3 years I'm going to be back in here asking for another chunk of money, because those are 30 years old and they're still kicking. And that's pretty great. And if we get good uniforms, usually the shelf life is between 12 and 18 years. Those pants are 30, that jacket is about 15. So we're getting to the end of the shelf life of the newest part of the uniforms that we currently have. So really, the whole thesis of all of this is the kids in those uniforms are doing an awesome job. Our football team is doing an awesome job. The football team is great, and they look great on their new field, and we look great on that new field, and those kids are great, but the uniforms they're wearing aren't the best. And I think they deserve to look and feel as cool as I know they are, and as great as I know they are, and as awesome as Sierra looks right now. Hey, Sierra. So that's kind of the end of my pitch. If you guys have any questions, I did my homework, so I can answer pretty much any uniform question you got. A uniform consists of, I think, 6 pieces. So each piece is on that price form, and the hat comes in a box, and the thing comes in a bag, that kind of stuff. But if you have any questions about uniforms, you can ask it now, or of course you can email me later. But you all have my email. Also, my name is spelled with an H. On the thing, it's spelled with a K, but that's not a huge deal. But whoever writes the checks, you might want to put an H on there.
So you're saying the total cost is $60,950, and after you all put what money you have in there, the total left is 38,950.
Yes, so I have a little quick notes back here that have all the numbers because I knew I couldn't rattle them off really fast. So I made sure I brought, my notes because I'm a teacher, so I make sure I do my homework. So yeah, I can provide this to you. Right here at the top is the total cost. That's $38,950. That's the Panther Foundation donation, band boosters, and school band account. That makes the remaining total $38,950. If the school board was generous enough to cover half, that would be $34.75, which would bring our total down to $8,950, which means we could raise that amount of money in approximately 2 years. So if we got half of the funding, in about 2 years we could update that look instead of 11.
One good thing, back in 2004, it was approved again, 2 members of this board were actually on this report.
Yeah.
And we agreed to purchase 50% of it, so.
Well, there you go. That's awesome.
Now, with that being said, we don't know yet. We're starting budget processes
Yeah,
right
of
now.
course. Of course you don't know.
And we will know a lot more,
Of course.
and, we might not can do it, we might can do more.
Well, more is also always great.
We'll do,
I love that.
I
We don't
think,
have to
I
haggle
think,
about
I
more.
think the board will do
More is an easy
very
haggle.
good.
More is an easy haggle.
Well, as of right now, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna say, as far as I'm concerned, in a motion, that if the funds are available, we pay it. When we have the funds available, that we support this
Well,
and get the new unit.
I agree, but we'll have to wait till we start the budget figure and work towards that number.
Oh, yeah.
It's not in the budget right now, but with that being said, we have supported, like I said, 2 of them. I know Rick and I
Well,
were
I
here when
appreciate that.
we purchased and spent 50%.
I appreciate those positive words. And like I said, if you guys are generous enough to add that donation, it would still take us 2 years to fundraise. So even if those funds aren't in the budget like this coming financial year, it would still take us another 48 months, 24 months, 2 years worth of months to make it to get the full amount. Plus there's tax and there's shipping and there's communicating with the company. They make us a model, we bring it in, we edit a thing or two. It takes some time to get this whole thing ironed out.
So what you're saying is you're not gonna order these uniforms for 2 years?
I mean, if I had
Is
a
that what,
big,
is that what
if I had a big pile of money today, I'd have them tomorrow.
let us work on that too. I
Yeah.
mean, you see what,
If the funding is available for the new budget year, how soon can you get them if July 1st the new budget goes in and you order them, how soon would they have them for you?
Is that a shipping question? Like how soon, if we could write off the entire cost, how soon would they be here?
Yes.
Well, we'd get one as a model.
Right.
So,
We want to know how
long
when
until we see the band
when
in
can we
uniforms?
outfit the band?
okay, it'd have to be, I got an email from Stanbury 2 days ago, and they said, if you're getting uniforms and you want your band in the next year, I have to know soon, because they have to make 115 uniforms.
So you're saying they could have them to us by next year?
If I had a big pile of money tomorrow, like it would be tight.
So most likely, if we
So
have to wait till July for proof of
Yeah.
money,
I mean,
it's gonna be 25 probably.
If we had a
before we
parade
can get
that's not in our marching season, maybe we could get them in time for that parade or something like that. But you probably wouldn't see them on the football field this
Until
coming
the next
football year. You'd probably see them the year after that.
But at least they would be in process.
Absolutely. That process does take a while. Even if we have, if I won the lottery today, it'd still take a good bit of time. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I will close my mouth and sit down. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you, Zach, with an
H,
H,
yeah.
not a K. Thank you.
We have enjoyed having your band at the game. They are amazing.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yes,
That's all the
they
credit to
sound
them. I have an
so
easy
good.
part.
I love it.
Well, I thank you so much.
comments? Item 7, approval of the agenda. Your motion?
Motion.
Motion. Second. Ms. Murray, second by Mr. McNish. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 8, approval of the minutes from the January 12th, 2023 regular board meeting. Your motion?
Motion.
Motion from Ms. Murray. Second?
Second.
Second. Cradle. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Committee reports, executive committee. Your motion, we approve the committee. pay your bills and all the other good stuff?
I entertain motion to pay your bills.
Thank you, Mr. Chadwick. Motion for Mr. Chadwick,
Second.
Mr. McNish. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Excuse me. On to new business, number 11. Talk approval of the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program. Dr. Barker?
Yes, Board, you have in your packet a grant that we received from our Public Entity Partners Insurance Company for $5,000. And Mr. Orr has been working with this particular grant to ensure that we qualify and that we have the information submitted to them for qualifying purchases. So, Mr. Orr, would you share with them what this grant would purchase?
Sure, thank you, Dr. Walker. So the Property Conservation Matching Grant Program goes towards any equipment that we would purchase to, I guess, ensure the safety of our campuses, our buildings, et cetera. So we have bought several new cameras for our security system. We do that, we have to, replace and add to every year. This being a matching grant, as long as we spent at least $10,000, they would match they would give us $5,000 towards the purchase of these cameras. We, in your package, you'll see that we've spent in excess of $40,000 on new cameras this year. So we more than qualify to receive that $5,000 grant, but it does require board approval for us to get that. So that's why it's what you have. Take any questions if you have.
We'll take it.
I'll buy one band uniform.
All right, do I hear a motion we approve?
Yes.
Mr. McNish,
Second.
second. Claybo?
Yes.
Let you?
Yes.
I couldn't hear. Second by Mr. Claybo. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Item 12, approval of following policy revisions. A, 5.303, personal and professional leave. That's the same policy revisions we looked at the workshop. Anybody questions, comments, changes, or? No? Hear a motion we approve.
Here's the motion.
Motion by Mr. Chadwick,
Second.
second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? B, policy 6.200, attendance. Again, this is the same one we looked at the workshop. No changes, no revisions. Hear a motion we approve.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Murray,
Second.
second by Mr. Chadwick. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, item 13, Dr. Barker's comments.
Thank you, Board. I've invited Mr. McDonald here today to give us a brief update on our construction and share with us some additional good news.
Hey.
Thank you, Dr. Barker. The last board meeting, you addressed a lot of the cost proposals that come up during the construction of gym renovation and air conditioning projects, mainly the renovation project. But we had a situation come up on one of the finished materials that where a supplier had miscalculated the quantity that was required. And based on his price, we thought that was just too expensive to try to keep that material. And so we were recommended to Dr. Barker and the board that we delete that material and we substitute the porcelain ceramic tile in the shower areas of the locker rooms and the team locker rooms. We've gone through a process of selecting finishes, and this is the actual tile that we're going to be using. We already have this in the project. It's a 1 foot tall by 2 foot long porcelain ceramic tile. And very durable. Of course, you had tile in your restrooms originally for the most part. So we thought we would just take this opportunity to switch this material, and as a result of about $157,000 savings, and then adding back the ceramic tile for about $50,000, it results in $107,000 credit to the project. I think you'd be well served by this material, and since we already had a ceramic tile installer on the job, and we were able to get this, for a reasonable price, it's added to their contract. So we're recommending that you accept that. Now that we've gotten past a lot of the hindrances that we've experienced, for the most part on the renovation project, progress is improved quite a bit. I don't know if you had a chance to visit the site, but the east side locker rooms were started first, so that work is ahead of the west side. But there's been quite a bit of mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work completed on the east side. Walls are going up now, masonry walls, and steel stud walls will start soon. And we should see ceilings going in probably sometime in April on the east side, and then the west side will follow after that. So things are picking up pace quite a bit, which is encouraging. Also just received a text from the contractor that said the steel beams that are supporting the new rooftop units for the air conditioning project will ship this month and be ready to install the 1st of March. The air conditioning units are shipping February 23rd. So that's about what, two weeks away? They ship, and of course it'll take, let's say, 30 days to get here, approximately. So they're running a little bit ahead of schedule, which is good. So once we get the steel beams in place, then they can start putting the air conditioning units on the roof. So that project is pick up pace. There's really not a whole lot that can be done until those materials arrive. So that's the bulk of the work. So right now we're looking at, I think, a July completion date on the renovation project, which the contractor says he's going to make every effort to meet that date. And then the air conditioning project finish shortly thereafter, depending how long it takes them to put the units together and put them on the roof, get them operating, and then install the ductwork inside the gymnasium. The last meeting we had, fire marshals, both state and local, were there. We had a good conversation with them about the progress and the work being done. So no real big issues there. So things are really moving along. If you have the time and the opportunity, I'd like to maybe take you on a tour, the board on a tour of the renovation, maybe about the time the ceilings go up, the way you can sort of see everything that's going into it. A lot of what you see in the renovation, or a lot of what you spend money on in the renovation, you don't ever see. Because it's behind the walls, it's above the ceilings, it's underground, so see a lot of what's going into the building. So it's going to be really nice when it's finished.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Can you remind me how many classrooms we're going? Is it 4 classrooms that go?
No, it's one big one up top that we're gonna
Okay.
have a partition between that we can have
Okay.
two, yeah.
Classrooms.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
again, the finish date for is still
July for the renovation project.
July. All right, now everybody heard that.
Yeah.
You heard that.
Yeah.
All right.
It is.
You did say the air conditioner would be after that, though.
Yeah, I'm not got a firm date on that yet.
Okay.
Right.
Just there's a lot of sequencing that has to happen. Get everything.
So they might have air before school starts, and they might not.
Yeah.
And Kelsey, UB's got to get a transformer first.
Yeah, that's right. That'll take a
Well,
while.
then we blame it on them.
Shut up.
There's not been a lot of work outside recently because the weather's just been too bad. A little bit more site work to be done, some more sewer work to be installed. They're concentrating on the inside now, so, which is great, to be able to do that. So.
Gotta stay inside during the winter months.
Yeah, by the time we start,
Turn the heat on, we'll be
heat
up
on.
there.
yeah, we start having to do more outside work, the weather be a lot better. Okay, any more questions? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I'm assuming that everybody approves of this credit to the budget. I thought that was a no-brainer, yes. Okay, so a couple of things. I want to say that this is National Counselors Week, and so I know at our schools we've been celebrating our guidance counselors, and we're just very, very blessed in our district to have the professionals that we have in those positions, and so just want to acknowledge that. We have also this Saturday our Science Olympiad group from the high school will be competing in Knoxville. And so we wish them all success as Mr. Code takes 15 students, I think it's to University of Tennessee for that competition. And then we had the opportunity to recognize our employees of the month, and we have their certificates over here on the wall. And I'd just like to share with the board who those people are. At the high school, it was Ms. Mindy Pierce. At the middle school, Ms. Emily Ritz. At the elementary school, Ms. Elizabeth Gettner. And here in the central office, it was Ms. Sheila Heron.
Boo.
So we're very appreciative of all the work they do. And then finally today, I would like for us to take a moment and congratulate Dr. Millicent Smith on her recent completion of her doctorate degree in education. We are very proud of her, and we know it's been a long 3 years that she has worked hard on that. And so congratulations. There are refreshments in the back, so please, everybody take a cookie and some snacks as you leave. And thank you for everyone who came today to present and share with us. And as the board goes into the budget season, the budget timeline is a part of your packet. We will most definitely take into consideration the needs as have been expressed, so thank you. That's all I have.
Anybody else? Questions, comments? So, you have, Brad's a doctor and you're a doctor. Okay. Who's the smartest doctor?
Me.
Me.
He would tell you that. He would tell you that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Your motion will adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.